Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. As usual, I hope and pray all is well. I actually been wanting to get up here and say a few things since reading a couple of comments from last week, and especially from Sunday. So I'll start off talking about service from Sunday, and I didn't take. I only wrote down one thing that the man of God said, and that was his title. What is your focus? That was his title, but he went, I don't know, it was a lot of word, a lot of prayer, always lots of prayer. That's what I love about that ministry. And let me tell you, I don't know where it is. I could Googled it real quick. But the Lord does not dwell in temples made with hands. The Lord dwell in us. And so I was there was two hymns, that's what they call them, that was sung Sunday. One of them is, I will trust in the Lord. I will trust in the Lord. I will trust in the Lord till I die. I used to could sing, but it's not about how pretty you sing. It's really the anointing that breaks the yoke, So when those song was playing, my mind went back to the church that I was raised up in. And I cried on both of them. My thing for speaking about that is this. It was a dead church. It was the pastor and his wife was wonderful people. They never, we used to go to their home. They lived about 15 miles away in a little town, and Mom used to take me there. My brothers, I don't never ever remember my brothers going with us any place, because 9 out of 10 times Mom had to catch a cab, But my foster aunt, it was a 9-room home, but on one side, well, Mom and Mr. Powell had built some, but it was originally 4 rooms. And my aunt and her husband, Uncle Lewis, they had 2 rooms, fixed up really nice. They had electric. Was it electric? No, they had gas. Yeah, they had gas cooking stove. I was raised on a wood burner stove, and for heating it was warm morning. And my aunt on their side, they had oil. But when I went to work, I offered to have running water put in, to get Mom electric stove, gas stove, whichever she wanted. But she didn't want it, She was born in the 1800s, and so that's what she was accustomed to. But she put out some good food in there. But anyways, my point about talking about the church is, take your children to church. I don't know if I don't know, but I do know that I cried like a baby singing those songs, and it just brought back memories, So, and being saved as long as I am now and needing so much in my almost 74 years of life, if I go to a dead church, I won't go back. I can't go back. I can't grow. I can't get anything, But like I've said in the past, if you've been to 1,000 churches and you're looking for the one that you fit, the one that you getting something from. See, it gotta be, ministry should be like in the book of Acts, lots of prayer and looking out for one another. Not no jealousy, and although that was there, it's been there since the beginning of time. But I have a lot of topics that I want to talk about. I've been up early, and I've been here at my desk. When I be sitting here, I had to, move and do, because sometimes, but I haven't spent much time here at my desk here lately. I've been trying to get a guest room, another guest room together, because I got supposed to be coming. I don't know if they're coming or not, but I still need to get that junk out that room. So anyways, make it 1,001, just because going to the right ministry really, really, really helps. And see, one thing about the Spirit of the Lord, He is in us. So if we go to a ministry and like the word say, He doesn't dwell in temples made with hands. So when we go in, we bring Him in with us. And when I tell you, that ministry is full of people that brought the Lord in. And the second thing I want to say is, now keep in mind that I sin, you sin, everybody sins. Anyone that say they don't sin, the Bible say they is a liar, and the truth is not in them. We had Holy Communion Sunday. In the church, the building, I got to stop. Well, we say the church because it says church too in the Bible as being a building. But I want to sort of like clarify, because in some things said, you need to use certain words. So I will say in the sanctuary, Sunday was pretty much full. It was pretty much full, and like I say, always lots and lots of prayer, lots of praise. Oh my goodness, lots of praise and lots of the word. It was a lot of word Sunday, but it was things that I already, I just didn't feel led to. I just didn't just wrote down, what he talked about, focus. But when it came time to hold Holy Communion, see, a lot of people have heard and know that they should not participate in taking Holy Communion, which is the bread representing God's body, and the drink, wine, juice, whichever it be, as being His blood. Jesus even said in His word, if you don't eat my body and drink my blood, you are none of me. And a lot of them went away because they didn't understand what He meant. You can Google what I'm saying. I can't give you no scripture. If I was ministering, I would take notes and give you scripture and stuff. But I'm just talking, I'm just talking. Anyone that's curious, you can Google, you can jot down, certain things in Google, because it's exactly what's said in the word. And so they went away. So there are sins that can send us to hell, and there are sins that don't. See, you gotta, when you know the Lord and you know about His grace and His mercy, first of all, to know Him, you don't want to sin. I failed big time, more than once, so I'm not up here trying to kick nobody, or beat nobody up, or, put nobody down. Because trust me, I know. Oh, how well I know. And I had been saved a long time, when I failed. And I'm thankful that it happened. It happened when I was 50 years old. So I'm glad that it happened then and not now. Because Granny ain't dead, y'all. My body is not dead. But anybody that want to be kept can be kept. Anybody that want to bridle their tongue. See, there is worse sins than fornication, adultery. There are other sins too. People focus on alcohol and drugs and sex. But that tongue, oh my God. And another thing I want to talk about is what's sending a lot of people to hell. But I want to finish this right here. And hopefully I won't forget, because I do have a tendency to move on and So, like I say, the sanctuary was pretty much full. But when it came time to take that bread and drink, people got up. They got up out of there. It was only a few left. So if we fear the Lord enough to not participate in that, then the sins that can send us to hell, that's what we need to focus on. That's what we need to focus on. There are a lot of people, they feel free. They just gone on up and participate. I tip my hat to them, for knowing the word and having enough respect, I guess, But I'm sure some could have participated in participating in Holy Communion. I'm almost positive, because the Lord, He understands so much. He made us. And if we are saved, He saved us before we was even into our mother's womb. So that's one point that I wanna cover. And the third thing is the games people play. My God, my God, my God. The games that some of you hypocrites. Now, let me tell you something. I'm getting ready to get mighty serious now, because to be quite honest, this is the real reason why I'm up here. Like I said, I've been wanting to get up here since last week. If I was to get up here and talking like I'm talking now, I'd get monetized just like that. Because there's some things that could be said to tell people how they are. I know God broke the mold. And some would say, well, you tooting your own horn. Well, maybe I am. Yep, I pat my own self on the back. Because I don't know many people like me. I do not. And up here on YouTube, to me, YouTube is the worst social media platform that it is. There's another platform that I go to that I truly enjoy. I enjoy it. But getting up here with a bunch of hypocrites. Let me get back to the games that people play. Okay, I'm not getting off of that. But while sitting here at my desk, let me calm myself down. I needed some protein. I had never had a muscle milk. And my ex-son-in-law, used to drink these, and he, for proteins, it's protein drink. And I need a little help, today. So instead of an energy drink, which is really what I want, I got the probiotic drinks. I actually bought 8, 9, 10. I bought 10 of the probiotic, the little shots. I bought 8 of those, and the kabacha, however you pronounce that, and this muscle drink here, because I got to get this body right, some things, cutting back on some things and doing some things that I have not been doing. And I advise any young people up here, take care of your body while you young. Because when you get old, if you don't take care of your body when you young, trust me, you're going to pay for it when you get old. Trust me, you're going to pay for it when you get old. You know? Although there are some people, you know, they gone on and they ate right. They was healthy and stuff. And, you know, but anyways, so I'm sitting here at my desk. I like to close my eyes. I concentrate better. And I had a visitor. And they was out there in my yard. They walked, you know, checking out my yard. And I was telling them about, you know, a tree that I was going to get shading off. Although now, you know, and how I wanted some bushes behind the home. You know, want that sort of like cut back or cleared out. And I was going to get a electric pole back there so I could have more light in the back, which I've done all of that now. But this was, you know, excuse me, a couple of years ago. And so they was out there in my backyard, and the neighbor on the back side of me was out there. And I don't know, you know, but my visitor asked me, say, have you had any problems with your neighbor? And I say, no, why you ask me that? And they say, because he didn't speak. Well, last week, I was on my deck. I go out there from time to time, and I just prop, you know, and just to get some oxygen, you know, especially if I've been in all day, I'll do that. And I just stay out there and I watch the squirrels. I ain't seen no rabbits in a while. But I've been seeing, you know, the squirrels and blackbirds. I've been seeing a lot of blackbirds out there in the yard. And so this was last week, and my neighbor came up from side his house and he saw me and he was just waving. You know, a neighbor that I've never had a problem with. All my neighbors here, I've never had a problem. Had a neighbor come bring me a plant. My neighbor just this past Mother's Day, him and his wife came and brought me flowers. My neighbor across the street, mother just passed, say, you know, I'm going to come visit you, which I'm not a visitor, you know, so she welcome to come here, but I don't know. I'm not a visitor, you know. I mean, if somebody, I didn't know her mom had passed, because if I had known, I would have baked a cake or took some soup, or I would have carried something, at least would have gave a card, you know. And then the one with the name, his wife name same as mine, one of the confirmations that the Lord want me to get this home right here, you know. And she works for the police department, because I've never lived alone. I hadn't lived alone in a house. I hadn't lived in a house alone. Yep, that's right. I had not lived in a house alone for many years. So I'll be honest, I had a little fear, you know. I had a little fear. I mean, I got alarms and all of that, you know. But anyways, but one neighbor on the end, on the corner, came and knocked on my door. And I hired him to paint some lawn furniture for me and come and, you know, I could hang my curtains. I hired him, you know. His son was on drugs, and from what I understand, he was on something too. Him and his sons lived with his mom, and they lived on the corner, and they kept junk. Only house on this street right here, they just had a bunch of junk, a bunch of trash, and the police stayed there all the time. One night, I was, you know, left out my room and went through the dining room, and I forgot to close my blinds, and it was about dark, you know, and it was lit up like a Christmas tree. Ambulance, police, fire, everything was down there, you know. But anyways, he came and knocked on my door. God, I've been up here 19 minutes. Let me hurry up. And said, why you call the police on me? So what are you talking about? You know, with the Caucasian neighbors, he ain't go to their door. The Spanish people on the other side of him, he didn't go to them. He came straight to me. But see, I didn't have a problem with him. Even his son that I hired that stole my shovel. But did I accuse him? Did I say something? No, because I didn't have no proof. All I know is that I hired him and he used the shovel and that it was gone. But I didn't make no waves. So I haven't had I don't have problems with people. People have problems with me. And let me tell you why. It don't be because of us. It be because of the God that's in us. So now, I call people hypocrites. Now I've had some that just come and say, hey, hello. And I haven't seen them in a while and they come and I appreciate that so much. But then you got to some that they come and they ask questions and play their little games. Or some they try to see if you come to their page. I'm getting so I don't care for YouTube. I'm gonna get up here if I feel it when I want to. And I'm so thankful that I don't feel pressed that I have to get up here. I don't have to get up here. I don't have to. If God had called me to get up here and talk about him and lead soul to Jesus, then I would feel some kind of way. But I don't. I don't feel no pressure like that. What I know to do is to let the lifestyle that I live speak for me in spite of the wrong that I've done in the past. Man, I don't let that hinder me. I don't let that hinder me because I'm determined to get better and not bitter. And you game players. Hell's gonna be full of you game players up here playing games, saying things just to see what I'm gonna do or what I'm gonna say. Why? What difference does it make? You up here with no faces. No faces. My God, my God. Yep, I'm getting to the place that I do not like YouTube. I'm getting to the place that I don't like it, But when I feel led to get up here and say something, I'm going to do it because I feel like it's for somebody. I feel like what I'm saying right now is for somebody. Because if it wasn't, I don't think I'd be up. Now, I won't tell you nothing wrong. I love to laugh. I can't tell you that I love to cook. Now I like to prepare food and invite people to come. I love to see people enjoy my food, my dishes and stuff, But I don't do a lot of cooking. I cook up some stuff and I eat off it until it's gone. That's what I do. And so, I like to show some meals that I prepared. And now my sense of humor can be off the chart. But I'm not gonna get up here and do that because I don't, I'm just not gonna do that, I'm not gonna. And I said that I was gonna get up here and do some things to get monetized. I tell you, it's just I'm retired, and it take a lot of work. And I'm not willing. I'm not dependable when it. That's what come out. If I was stable in my body, I would work a job, get that, that extra. I would do that, get me out the house. I was a hospice volunteer. I would love to do that again, but I can't be around sick people like that anymore. You gotta take wisdom. You can be saved all you want to, but you better use some wisdom, Well, I will say this, and then I'm going to get on off of here. I have to get out, but I have to wait 3 hours for something. And so that way I don't have to get out to do the same thing tomorrow. So, do a little housework, take my bath. By then, the 3 hours will be up and do what it is I got to do. And call it a day, Excuse me. But I want to say this last thing right here. If you are not a hypocrite, if you don't play games, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the ones that know that you do. And you know who you are. You know who you are. You got somebody said something. See, it's a lot. It be so much that I know, but we can't address it. We can't address everything and everybody, but I know what I'm talking about. Somebody said something, then somebody came and said something to see if I was going to say something or what I was going to say. The games you play, you're going to bust hell wide open. If you don't, I'm going to tell you right straight out, just like this. If you don't get to know the Lord, cause you don't know him. Cause if you did, you wouldn't be playing those games that Satan put in your mind to play. And not only that, if you so saved, why don't you talk about the Lord? Huh? Why everything what you post is worldly. Never nothing spiritual. But have I came against you? No, I've supported you. I've hit the like button. I've done that. But I know it's just like, where Satan, who was it said? They knew where Satan's seat was. Oh my God, the things I could say. Now, like I said, I could get up here and I could talk like this and I get monetized just like that. But that's not my spirit. It's not my spirit, and it's not my desire to get up here feeling some kind of way. Because trust me when I tell you, I could hurt some feelings now. I could tell you some stuff now. I could, but it's not my nature. And it never has been. It ain't never been my nature to turn nobody down unless you push that button. But I'm even getting better at that. Thank the Lord. Because like I said, I want to get better and not bitter. Life has really, over the years, thrown me some hard blows. I've gotten some hard blows. Hard blows. That I've even been asked a question. I don't understand why you still here. Well, I almost took myself out. 3 times I thought it. 2 times I was dead serious. But both times the Lord intervened. He intervened and he showed me exactly what to do. Now let me get off of here. I hope and pray that all that want to know the Lord, you may be in sin, but so was I. I mean, deep sin. Deep sin. Before I met my husband and some years after I met my husband. I mean some deep sin before I met him. I mean deep. My God. And to this day, and even thinking about my birth mom, how she passed. It's just like, I don't know. I don't have no PTSD. But there be times that sometimes things come to me, things that I did, and I had to pray. So young folk, middle-aged folk, old folk, don't do anything that's going to give you nightmares. Just don't do it. Ask God to help you. And he will. I know he will. And with that being said, remember, wise men, ladies, boys, and girls, still seek Jesus. He loves you, and so do I. And so do I. I love all that love the Lord. I love those that want to know the Lord, but they say he ain't real because they've been through so much hell. You're saying he's not real. And I can understand. I read some things in the Bible. I'm saying, oh God, help my unbelief. Help my mind not to go there, Lord. But let me tell you, God understands. He understands. Ooh, he will fill you with the Holy Ghost. Let me tell you something. Whew. I can't tell you the last time I've done this. But the pastor was speaking and he said, if you got the Holy Ghost and speaking in with the evidence of speaking in tongues and something else he said, and I remember him saying, I don't remember. I know he said something else, but I don't remember what it was. And the next thing you know, them tongues was coming out. And I remember quietness. Everybody, the one that was left in there, it was probably about 25. It was probably about 25 left in there after service was all over with and got to leave. And I looked around. It was probably about 25 in there. And I don't look to see who there and who doing what. I look because my God, the church, the sanctuary was about full, but it won't even a fourth of the people there, when he talked about the Holy Communion. So anyone, just get to know the Lord. He just ain't like what folks think. He'll stick with us. He's not going to leave us. Long as we don't leave him, he's not leaving us, y'all. He don't do it. Oh my God, let me get off of here. Oh my God. He awesome, y'all. I gotta go.